Hey guys, it's Mooty here, and today I have a VGC 15 match, so if you enjoy this, you could always leave a like, and if we reach 300 likes, I'll post another live battle. I know VGC 15 has been something a lot of people have been requesting, so I kind of put a team together. Oh my goodness, can we just talk about how good competitive Milotic is? Like, I'm telling you, if there is a tier that Milotic shines in, this is it. You have freaking intimidators everywhere, and for some reason, like, I've had some multiple occasions which, hey, I have a Mooty out against a Milotic, and I'm gonna Mega Evolve, even though my attack isn't gonna kill the Milotic, and give it a competitive boost, and that way I actually do a lot of work. So, I enjoy Milotic if you couldn't tell. I will have my opponent's channel in the description because he does VGC 15 content too. I don't think he uploads that much. How? Upload more. But yes, he is running Swampert, Breloom, Arcanine, Zapdos, Dragonite, and Suicune. Unfortunately, he only has one Intimidator in the form of Arcanine. Usually Arcanines are Intimidators. Mega-wise, he has Swampert. So, the problem is, the thing with my team is that I really wanted to put a Grass type on it. Otherwise, Swampert and other grass type, well, not grass type, but things like spores become really annoying. So I'm just thinking of a good lead. I honestly want to just lead with, like, I can get intimidated off. There's no reason for me not to, because like things like Breloom, Swampert, Arcanine, Dragonite are usually mostly physical, so there's no harm in getting that out of the way. And then I was thinking right next to it I could get Kanga. I have Fake Out. And then Rotom would be useful against the Suicune, otherwise it also becomes a problem, especially if it happens to be Crocoon, which is so annoying. I also do want to go with Milotic though, because Milotic kind of deals with Arcanine, Dragonite, and Swampert. Even if it doesn't have a boost, I still carry Ice Beam. I also have the added effects of having Icy Wind. So, actually, okay, and the last one I'm going with Sylveon, because I am terrible with the timer. I'm telling you, I'm just terrible with the timers. So this is also going to be the best 2 out of 3 match. So if you don't know what that is, basically, since VGC is so fast-paced, basically you just do 2 matches, and well, 3 matches, and technically, like, if you win the first 2, then you win, and you know, if you win 1, they win 1, then you win the 3rd, then you win. You know what I'm saying? So I was explaining that and I didn't actually notice, but yeah, he didn't lead off with the Intimidator because, you know, but the thing is, at least I get Intimidate off on the Swampert. The only thing with the Swampert is too, they do have the added ability of getting Power Up Punch, so I would have to watch out for that. Suicune is annoying because obviously it being a water type, it could carry Ice Beam, but the Suicunes that I've seen lately, especially because he decided to pair with Swampert, makes me kind of feel like he's a Tailwinder, and honestly, I kind of fear that a lot more than the Swampert, which is intimidated. So I'm just thinking of how I want to do this. Like, I could go with Landorus and I could knock off, or I could just like, I could also, I could do Turn Out, but I think I'm just gonna knock off the Suicune, and then I can Mega Evolve and Fake Out the Suicune. But like I said, like, Power Punch though at the same time isn't that. Oh, this one is a Protect Kanga. Why? This is a Protect Kanga. I'm so disappointed. Oh my gosh. Well, plans change. Guess I'm Power Punching. I thought this was my Fake Out one. This happened to be my Protect one. Well, it wasn't. Honestly, it wasn't even mine. It was one that was given to me and it had Protect. I honestly didn't even check, which would be my fault. So like I said, he is a Mega Swampert and he's going to Mega Evolve. And like I said, I think the move that, like, the thing is, like, obviously, okay, he protected, which I guess kind of works out because I faked out. No, I didn't fake out anything. Like, I didn't fake out anything because I didn't have Fake Out. But what I would have done is fake out the Suicune because I was scared that it was gonna have Tailwind. But I guess now that I see it has Rain Dance, I guess I kind of falls in the same category. Swampert is still intimidated, so that's something to, I guess, look forward to. Although it does have the boost now, and I guess the only thing that can kind of switch in alright is Milotic. And then, you know, wasting away the rain turns is going to be really difficult for me, honestly. But I think he's going to attack the Kanga because Kanga is clearly the bigger threat. So I'm going to protect with the Kanga, and then I'm going to switch out into Milotic. And then, if I really want to, I can come in with Landorus again, get another Intimidate off. So that would be useful. But like I said, people usually target the Kanga thinking Kanga is the bigger threat because it can Power Up Punch. So that went well, and he Ice Beams the Milotic slot. So that turn played out really well. The question is where I'm going to go from here, because I'm not really sure myself, honestly. But this Milotic, though. This Milotic, also not a set that I had on Showdown. But this one carries Toxic, Scald, Ice Beam. The one I ran on Showdown carried Icy Wind because it has the ability to lower a Pokemon's, both of the Pokemon's speeds by a stage, which is really helpful. So I'm just thinking I can go for the Scald on the Swampert. If he protects, then it's annoying, but I just have a feeling that he's gonna want to attack. He's gonna want to attack. So, if I'm lucky, I'll get a burn. But that's just like me just thinking, hey, all hacks aside, you know, get rid of the threat. So, if I return it, I think a combination of return. The thing is, if he protects, which is kind of what I'm scared of. So, at the same time, Kanga is a really, really huge threat. Like, really huge. So, I'm going to attack the Swampert. Just double attack the Swampert, and he withdraws. I'm not sure what he's going to... Zapdos. Okay, that's not bad, because Milotic will do a lot in the rain with Scald, and Return, I think, will do a decent amount. No. Wow, that does like nothing. That does like nothing. I'm like, yeah, a decent amount. No. The Scald is probably gonna do more to it. He gets the burn. Ugh, stuff like that. I should have watched out for it. But I get the burn too on a Zapdos for what it's worth. So Zapdos, though, I'm not too scared of. At this point, I might as well start trying to get rid of the Suicune. So I'm gonna Toxic the Suicune. I know it's kind of weird, but Toxicing it is probably the better option. Unfortunately, clearly Zapdos is physically defensive. Like, I can kill it off. Well, I would have been able to kill it off if I didn't get burnt, which is unfortunate. So I'm just going, honestly, I'm just going for return damage at this point. What I don't want to happen is the Suicune to, I guess, set up another Rain Dance once this one is over. If he doesn't roost, a burn is going to come really close to killing it, which is also good. And so, at this point, Kanga is not a threat. That's why I'm kind of surprised that he went for the Volt Switch on the Kanga there, because at this point, Kanga is not a threat because he's burnt. Like, at the same time, like, a burnt Kanga can still do something with Power Punch, but it's just, obviously, because it's burnt, it's not that big of a threat. Now, Breloom comes out, and there's the Tailwind. Yeah, that's why Suicune is really, really, really annoying. At the very least, this thing isn't going to want to deal with Toxic at all. It's not going to want to protect. Other things aren't going to want to protect. But I don't like having Toxic on this thing. Hey, I get left with 1 HP. I don't like having Toxic on my Milotic over Icy Wind, personally. So, Breloom, what I obviously could watch out for is a Spore, because I know my Milotic won't outspeed it. If I predict it and protect... But he could probably kill off the Kanga with Mach Punch if he really cares that much about it. So, Like, I honestly don't care if he kills me off with Mach Punch. So he goes for the Bullet Seed, and hopefully he doesn't get... That does a lot more than I thought it was going to do. And then Citrus activates. If I'm lucky, it won't hit 5 times, which I'm really hoping for. It won't hit 5 times. There's 3, and then there's 4, and I'm dead. So, where I'm going to go from here, I'm not exactly sure. Because I'm pretty sure the other thing I have is, I don't know why it just totally slipped my mind that Tailwind was up. Like, that's just one of the things that just slips my mind when it's one of the things. Hey, Elina, keep that in mind. It's not poison, it's freaking, it has speeds. So, what I have left is a Landorus, which at least intimidates the Breloom for what it's worth. And I have Sylveon, which Hyper Voices do a lot. The only thing is it can't handle physical attacks. So, because he's Undertale, well, the thing is, Sylveon is naturally slow anyway. But I guess it really helps that I have the Intimidate. Now, the problem with Landorus is that I'm Choice Scarf, so it's kind of like, what do I want to lock myself into? I'm not really sure. At this point, I kind of feel like Stone Edge is the better option and just go for the Suicune and just go for the Hyper Voice with Sylveon and do as much damage as I possibly can. As he goes for the Bullet Seed on the Sylveon, it's still doing, I guess, a respectable amount depending on how many times he hits it. That's 3, that's 4, and then 5. I'm gonna be so sad if that kills 5 times. That doesn't happen often, really. It doesn't. And I'm thinking maybe with Stone Edge, I knew Landorus was dead, though. I knew Landorus was dead. At the very least, Sylveon will kill off the Suicune with Hyper Voice. We know that much. And the Breloom, too. Thankfully, the Breloom is dead. Suicune is dead to Toxic. Luckily, I got these 2 things out of the way. They were really annoying. Like I said, one thing I really wanted to have on this team was Whimsicott, because it provided a Taunter, which honestly I feel like is really essential in this metagame. From what I played with it, there's a lot of Tailwind, there's a lot of, especially with like bulky supportive Pokemon, that's also a problem. So he's got Zapdos here. Zapdos is kind of like, it's in the spot where it might die to Burn. So the problem is Swampert. The problem is dealing with Swampert, and I can't really. Hyper Voice, I think, is my best attack. It hits. Like, the thing is, I really wish I had Protect on this, but I'm running Assault Vest, which honestly doesn't really provide me much. So Hyper Voice is the best thing because of Stab. The other attacks I have are like HP Ground, which don't really help. So I'm kind of forced to go for Hyper Voice. So I wish I had something like HP Grass, but it's just not worth it. And then I die. I forgot I was that low, but then I died that. So that's first game. I'm kind of hoping that I lose the second one for the sake of the length of the video, because I really don't like having long videos. But there are definitely a lot of things that I need to change up with this team that I originally had on my Showdown team. And it was only made in order to try and test out the metagame. I kind of took, I looked at Pokemon GL, the battle spot doubles to see what was top and kind of tried to make my team from there. So, this is game 2, and this time, honestly, I'm not really sure what to start off with. All I know is that I need to find a way to deal with the Suicune and Quake, pretty much any of his set Pokemon that set up. But I'm thinking that maybe Sylveon would be a good option to try and just get a lot of damage output, and then try and go with what I want to go with. Like, obviously he knows Kanga's a threat. I mean, I want to keep Kanga in the back, but I'm definitely bringing Kanga. And if I lead off with Milotic, unless if he predicts me to lead off with Kanga, once again Intimidate off with Arcanine, maybe that'll work out. But I know that he's probably scared of having Milotic around and having that Intimidator around. It's like sometimes running like Milotic Kanga is a really good thing, but like I said, I'm scared of that Scald burning me again. So, like, I know it's hacks, but it's just something that I don't want to mess around with. So, what I'm going to go with is Kanga in the back. And then, honestly, like, Landorus helped me to some extent because, like I said, he has a really physical team. Like, Swampert, Breloom, Arcanine, although Arcanine doesn't really matter because, I mean, unless it's, like, physically offensive a lot. And Dragonite usually are, but Dragonite can also be special, so it's kind of like a toss-up. But I'm thinking for the last slot, like, the problem is that because he's running Rain, if I bring Rotom, then I'm at a really big disadvantage. So that's why I feel like I just went T-Tran. I just went T-Tran, even though that was pretty bad. That's pretty bad because Heatran, I think, is one of the worst options I could have gone with. Like, even Rotom would have been better. I'm just, like, running out of time, clicks Heatran. So, Heatran was actually supposed to be a... So, I am so happy to see that Arcanine. I am glad I at least predicted that, so we get that competitive boost. And he does not want to set up Rain this time. I'm telling you that much. He does not want to set up Rain. And, give me yet another boost on top of the competitive that I have. So, where we go from here, I am just gonna go for probably gonna go for the Hyper Voice on Sylveon, because I'm not really scared of either of these Pokemon. I know Arcanine isn't gonna want to stay in, and at least Hyper Voice would deal a good amount of damage to Suicune. Or the other option I have is double attack the Suicune, knowing it's the threat. But, I know that Suicune, judging from the amount of damage Hyper Voice did last time, is probably a special set, just to kind of take more electric attacks. So, Hyper Voice really would not do that much, honestly. And Hyper Voice isn't going to do a lot to Arcanine either, so there's really no point in going for it. I might as well Size Shock the Suicune, because at least then I'll hit it from the defensive side, so it will do more than the, whatchamacallit, the Hyper Voice would. So with my Milotic, Suicune isn't a threat, so I really don't see much reason to, like, not attack the Arcanine slot, even if he does have Protect on it. So I'm just going with Scald, and he's gonna burn the Sylveon, which is alright, because I'm staying in and it's not gonna affect Sylveon, and he goes for the Tailwind on top of that. It's annoying, but like I said, I'm gonna have to deal with it. And then Scald, I think at +2 should take that thing out. So it does. The thing is, if he's carrying Breloom and kind of I get unlucky like I did last time where he hit 4 or 5 times, then I know I'm dead. That Slash Shock did not do a lot at all. So I am going to figure out what to do from here. Like, Sylveon is taking, like, some residual damage, which is great. Not great, what am I saying? That's all, like, that, it's not the worst thing that can happen. It's not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen is Breloom coming out. So this is where I go, okay, obviously, I know Hyper Voice takes it out, and then I have to Protect because he's going to want to attack that Milotic, but the thing is, even if he predicts me to Protect and goes for the Sylveon, actually, I think last game, the only reason Bullet Punch killed me was because the Breloom was intimidated. So yeah, he goes for the Bullet Seed, and then he goes for the Scald on Sylveon, which not too concerned about because I am Assault Vest, and Hyper Voice should take out the Breloom. And that's one huge threat avoided. Huge threat avoided. So, Milotic staying out on the field is, like, my main goal here right now. Just because she has the potential to put in so much work. The set that I'm running on this is just max. Well, not completely max, but I'm running bold, so I invest in defenses. And then seeing Swampert come out is just fine, even though Tailwind is up. Swampert cannot do a lot to a Milotic. So I'm just going to continue hyper voicing, honestly, and then I'm just going to go for another. Like, the thing is, I know Swampert has Protect, but Suicune can't do a lot to the Milotic, so it's not really posing to be much of a threat. So there's no reason for me not to just go for the Scald on the Swampert. If anything, Swampert is his best bet against Milotic, because from what I know from the Suicune, he carries Rain Dance, Tailwind, Scald, and Ice Beam, so he can't touch me. So even if he wants to set up a Protect, the Suicune can't do a lot to me. Even if he's setting up Rain Dance, he's also giving me a boost in the process. So at this point, I already know that these are his last two Pokemon. So what I can do is, if I really want to, I could just go into, I think I brought Landorus. I'm not sure if I brought Landorus or not. If I brought Landorus, I could go out into Landorus, get an Intimidate on it easily. I didn't bring Landorus, unfortunately, so Sylveon's staying out then in that case. I'm going for another Hyper Voice, and I'm gonna go for a Scald onto the Swampert. I'm Earthquake. Earthquake isn't, no. Earthquake is not gonna do a lot to Milotic. No. Milotic is my bae. Even though Sylveon dies, Milotic is my bae. And I think Scald is gonna do a lot to it. Like, enough to take it out. I hope. A plus 2, I hope. Even though I'm not invested, it didn't. But, okay. It's okay. I had way too many high hopes for it. But Tailwind is out, and the thing with this Kanga is it would have been so useful to have Protect. It would force him to either Protect with his Swampert or go for an attack, but still get Fake Outed, you know? So I'm obviously gonna Mega, and from last time I know that Swampert won't do enough to kill a Kanga. So what I can do is I can Mega, and then I can go for Power Up Punch on Suicune, and then I can kill off the Kanga with a Scald. Sound good? Sound good. Because Suicune also doesn't have the added boost of Tailwind right now. So at least I'll outspeed the Suicune. Swampert won't be able to kill the Kanga, especially because he's going for Earthquake. He'd either be forced to choose between the two Pokemon that are out right now. Doesn't do enough on Milotic to kill it. He also kills his own Suicune in the process, and I get Citrus on top of that, and I think just with that, Milotic is going to take it out with a Scald, or Kanga just takes it out with a Power Punch, even though it's kind of unnecessary. But, you know, on the off chance that I wanted a boost for later on, it's like, why not? It was at low enough to where I thought it might, but Scald, it's 100%, it's dead. So, because I won game 2, we're moving on to game 3. Now, after this, he's going to be really reluctant to lead off with an Intimidator, I'll tell you that much. So, I feel like Arcanine is not coming out this time. But at the same time, I feel like the combination of Milotic and Kanga, they're two bulky Pokemon. Any Intimidators want to come out, they give Milotic a boost. And then they become kind of susceptible to Kanga and kind of got to deal with it in other ways. So, I'm going to go on to round 3. I don't think he's going to lead with Arcanine or even bring it at all this time. There's no reason for me not to bring Milotic because it's one of the bulkiest things I have on my team. Only kind of gets stopped by any like Zapdos or Breloom. What I don't want to see is Breloom. So I'm just thinking here. I don't want to see Breloom. But I know he's gonna bring it because Breloom and Zapdos, either of those two are kind of his only ways to deal with Milotic, so those are definitely coming, and that's why I know I at least have to bring Sylveon. And I've led with Milotic, I think, the first 2 games, so I feel like he's kind of anticipating it at this point. I'm not sure if I led with Milotic first game, but I'm just saying after the second game, I don't think that he wants to lead with it again. So it would be so much more useful if Kanga had Fake Out, but it doesn't, which I'm like, my heart and my soul is crushed. But I have a feeling Breloom may be a lead. So I'm gonna lead off with Rotom. If it's not, and he leads off with Suicune, then at least I get some damage with the T-Bolt. Milotic in the back, and then Kanga in the back. Honestly, Intimidate and bringing Landorus has not been useful to me because Rain Team, and what it does is Ice Beams just OHKO me. Scalds are gonna OHKO me in the rain. And even though it does help to get that Intimidate off on the Swampert, I feel like bringing it hasn't been helpful. So there's at least Zapdos. I was expecting either the Zapdos or the Breloom to lead off, so that's why I didn't want to bring Milotic. Now the only thing is with Rotom, I'm gonna have to watch out a bit because of Scald. But there's also a possibility of Zapdos carrying Rain Dance because they can carry Rain Dance. But I don't really have much to hit it with. Honestly, I'm just going for the Hyper Voice. I already know that Suicune doesn't carry any protecting attacks. The only thing I'm kind of worried about is if Swampert comes in on the Suicune slot, but I really don't see that happening because for him, like, Swampert hasn't functioned without either Tailwind or Rain. So, like, with this particular team, if I had Whimsicott, it would have been so much more helpful having that priority taunt. So, I'm just getting the T-Bolt off on Suicune, trying to do as much damage as I can. I get paralysis, so I guess that's useful. And I really think it's just going to Scald the Rotom. I don't know how much it's going to do because I'm not sure how... Oh, he actually... I think he might have protected the... He might have thought that the Rotom was going to protect. But what I was scared of is that the Suicune is going to end up setting something up. But it's so low now, which is fantastic because it's not going to get to set anything up at this point. Absolutely not. It's not setting anything up. And now I can just Hyper Voice because Hyper Voice will kill. And then on the Zapdos slot, I can just go for a Thunderbolt. So I'm going to Thunderbolt the Zapdos slot. And he's not going to keep Suicune around. Zapdos is going to attack the Rotom this time. It's going to do a lot, but the Thunderbolt is also going to do a lot to the Zapdos. I don't want to have Zapdos around because I do have my Milotic in the back, like I said. And then the Hyper Voice is going to kill off the Suicune, which is honestly Suicune and Zapdos on top of that. So honestly, this like first two set of turns worked out perfectly. If he doesn't have Breloom in the back, then Milotic is looking pretty good, honestly, because like I said, the Breloom and the Zapdos were really the only two things my team was kind of having trouble with. So I have high hopes. And knowing that he relies on Tailwind, and there's Dragonite, and then there's Breloom. So like I said, Breloom, huge problem. Especially once Milotic comes out. But Hyper Voice is going to do so much to both of these, and it's not going to want to take it. And then the thing is, I have to overheat the Breloom. I have to get rid of that Breloom because I have my Milotic in the back. And if he wants to protect, I guess that's fine if he even carries it. I just don't really know what spreads he runs, and he runs Drain Punch on his, and that's probably going to take me out. And then I'm probably going to die to anything. Oh, he's actually special. So, wow, that does a lot. And that was a critical hit. And that is bad. Weakness policy is so bad. I haven't seen Weakness Policy Dragonite in VGC like ever. That is so bad. Now I'm terrified. Now I'm kind of terrified. But like I said, because I have my Milotic in the back, it helps. So, I mean, I had some stuff against me in the first game. He had some stuff against him in the third game. So I want to say this is GG, but I don't want to, be that guy that gets ahead of themselves and, throws G's really quick. But regardless of, okay, he carries Thunder, so that is going to obliterate. Oh no, I live! I get paralyzed though, but I lived. And I citrused, even though that doesn't matter. But man, Milotic is bulky. That is so, I'm like, what? So, that was good game. Damn. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did and you want to see more VGC, you can leave a like on this video. I don't know if you guys want me to do best 2 of 3s because they sometimes happen to be long, so I don't know if you guys like longer videos, but I love you guys very much, and have a wonderful day, and bye.